Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, so you know what that means, another video from me. Anyway, I'm gonna scoot back up. My name's Jackie. If you're new here, go ahead and follow, like, subscribe, leave a comment, please, and turn your notifications on. I'm new here, and I'm trying to make a life out of this or something like that, because don't let your dreams be dreams. I'm not sure. One of those cheesy phrases. Anyway, it is raining outside. Sorry that it's loud. And today I'm going to very sheepishly get into a conversation about comp het and bisexuality. So if you don't know, comp het is compulsory heterosexuality, and I'm going to break it down for you in the comp het for dummies way in this video while I do my makeup. So get ready with me, and welcome to my channel. I also just want to state that this topic is kind of hard for me to talk about personally, and there are a lot of moments where I struggle to remember words or kind of struggle to remember what the topic is, and thunder is aggressive, and kind of just like stay on topic because doing my makeup and talking is like new for me, so doing both of those things at the same time is a little challenging, so please be understanding of that. And I also just want to let you know that this topic does run close to home for me, so it's a little bit challenging to talk about, especially knowing that my audience is mainly people that know me in real life. So let's get into it. The erasure of bisexuality is the main thing I wanted to talk about today because so many people in the past and in the current day have identified as bisexual, and at the same time, every time someone comes out, a lot of the time what happens is they will start dating someone and everyone will just assume, oh, well, they're a lesbian, or well, they're bisexual, or well, he's gay. And that is really damaging to people with bi identities because it kind of forces us to feel like we have to pick a box to fit in. It forces us to feel like there aren't options. We can't maintain our sexuality and be in a relationship because a lot of the time when you're in a relationship, that person identifies as a he or a she rather than as a they, them. So that just makes things very difficult. In order to, maintain, knowing your sexuality and feeling sure of it. A lot of people try to have polyamorous relationships, and I personally, don't know how that works for them, because I don't think I could do it, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it's wrong, and it doesn't mean it's, not an answer. So there are ways you can go about, maintaining your sexuality, whether it be just openly discussing people that you find attractive with your significant other. That is one solution that I like. Or we always have the option to just know that it is there and try to be secure in our relationships and our sexualities by addressing it with people in our lives, by talking about the fact that we're bisexual, asserting that, hanging out with other people who identify as bisexual, whether they are or are not in a relationship at the time. And I also want to just state that, bisexuality and pansexuality, I kind of think of them as interchangeable. And, to everyone they may not be, but however, in this, I am using them interchangeably, because, yes, I identify as bisexual, but that doesn't mean I'm going to disqualify anybody that is trans or non-binary from the people I would date. I don't think that I would simply not date someone because of their gender preferences. I would date someone based on my feelings and attraction for them. And BRB while I do my mouth. I've got Girl as a Gun by Halsey stuck in my head today. And it's really empowering. It's a very empowering song. So I was this ring light, loving it, 10 out of 10. Anyway, back on topic. So another thing I wanted to talk about today is compulsory heterosexuality. And this is a concept I'm going to briefly cover. And if I miss anything or get anything wrong, please correct me in the comments because I am not an expert on comp het for short. Again, that's compulsory heterosexuality. So basically what this term means is that people who mostly women. I feel like this entire concept revolves around women, but I also feel like it applies to men. It's the idea that in society you are conditioned to believe that you belong in a relationship with someone of the opposite gender or sex. And basically, for women like myself who are bisexual, this pretty much means that we have been taught and trained to believe our whole lives that we're going to marry a man one day. And no matter what, like whether we go through a stage in college of figuring it out and experimenting, or whether we don't, we're just always expected to believe that we will end up with men, and everything that men do, it means that they like us. Remember when you were probably in middle school or elementary school and somebody told you, oh, he's being mean to you because he likes you, he's teasing you because he likes you, he threw paper at you in class because he likes you, and they were willing to turn anything that a boy did into something romantic. And that's why you read into everything that men do, and you always go back to the idea that, oh, well, he likes me. He's ignoring me because he likes me. And it's just like, almost like it's all in your head, but at the same time it's not, because you were conditioned to believe that. And you were conditioned to think that way and to read into the signs of men, because we are taught, and this is also from, like, toxic masculinity. It's just taught that men can't express their feelings, and that men can't, like, openly say what they feel towards you without being shamed, and that the whole, like, boys can't cry thing, right? So with that means that, like, since men don't cry, or supposedly don't cry, and men also, feel things towards us, but that means they wouldn't be able to say it. So that means, of course, we're going to read into everything that they do and make us believe that they like us and they care for us, even though they never explicitly have to say it. And it's almost like, I think that's how a lot of women get into relationships and end up feeling alone, and end up feeling like their partner doesn't love them because they haven't expressed those things, and maybe they used to, but they stopped, or whatever the case may be. It's obviously different in every situation. But that's, a lot of the time, I feel like those things are all very intertwined, and toxic masculinity is very dangerous to men, as well as to women, but also to men. Like, we have to acknowledge that. So going back to comp het for a minute, I'm gonna pause this. Give me a sec. Back. Some other examples of comp het in women, like women who are experiencing comp het, look like keeping their partners around for physical safety. There was one woman I saw talk about this on TikTok, and she was basically saying that she felt like a relationship was give and take, but for her, she was giving physical affection, and in trade for protection and physical safety. So she felt like, in order to get physical safety, I will give this man hugs and kisses, and he will keep me safe. And that is our exchange in this relationship, and that's love. Which is simply not true. It does not end there. But for other women, this can look like a multitude of things. It can look like just being kind of like disgusted by men, and like not actually attracted to men, but just feeling like we're supposed to be with men, and we're just, tolerating them, and we are just simply entertaining them. And also, for some women, this can look like male validation. So for some people, what happens is, like, they feel like the validation of a man is the man's purpose in their life. So for women, this can be, women, especially young women, like in their 20s, this can be like, oh, I want to date this guy, I want to date this guy. And the moment he starts showing you affection back, you want nothing to do with them. And that's, like, just one example of comp het. So, like, as a woman, if you feel like you're doing that in situations with multiple women, multiple men, then maybe consider yourself having a little bit of comp het, think about it. Also, just, like, getting that validation filled from men, and then feeling like, okay, why am I having this conversation? Like, feeling like, okay, I got what I wanted out of this, so I'm done giving you attention for the day. Comp het, things like that. So let's talk about bisexuality and comp het together. A lot of the time, women can identify as bisexual and really just be seeking male attention, male validation, male approval. in order to make them feel beautiful or sexy, because that is kind of how we are conditioned from being young. You're always taught, oh my god, I'm so, everyone always, oh, look at that line, oh my god, sorry. Everyone will tell you, oh, you're so pretty, da 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 da, and then you feel like, I have to date a man. So then you do, and then you're like, actually, wait a second, I'm bisexual. And then later, you learn about compet, and you're like, am I bisexual, or do I just want the approval of men? Do I feel like I have to have a man in my life in order to matter, in order to give me significance? Compulsory heterosexuality, or comphet for short, also brings us back to this concept that we are kind of not really dating men because we like men, but because we're conditioned to like men, right? So at the same time, what that can look like for a lot of people is tolerating their partner. And this can look like, I am being a good partner, and that's how I express that I love you. It's not because I want to do these things for you, it's because I want to be a good partner, because I love you. And that's like, a concept that's really hard to accept for some people. Like, think about it. You're not actually doing the things that you're doing in the relationship because you want to do them. You're doing them because you want to be a good partner, and that's what you think that love is. That's like a concept that I learned about recently. It was very hard for me to accept. And I mean, like, honestly, maybe I don't have to accept it if it's not something I'm doing, right? But at the same time, it's something that is very real and very much out there and very much something that happens for people. And some women on TikTok were saying that compet can only be experienced by lesbians. I don't think this is true, personally. I feel like this can be experienced by all sorts of women, even women who are, like, actually straight. Like, I feel like sometimes they can still do things out of this compulsory heterosexuality. This heteronormative culture that we're raised in kind of just teaches us, hey, take all of the things, take all of your questions, all of your fears, all of it, and just push it towards men. And just take all of that and go, I'm going to actually turn this into a I like men thing. Because men. And, like, that's just not always the case. So, let's be open to that. And also think about the fact that this affects bi women, lesbian women, straight women, all of the women. And this also probably affects men. I want to talk about this from a flip side point of view for once. Men obviously are always taught to, end up with a woman, raise children, and have a family with a woman, and women are supposed to be the caregivers. So in that dynamic, men would be taught to ignore their feelings, not express how they feel about things, and obviously not express any desire towards other men. And so that part of compulsory heterosexuality can force men to not really identify as bisexual, and force them to not realize the depth of their sexuality and the fluidity of their sexuality. And another thing about sexuality being fluid, it can change every day. Like, who you're attracted to, who you're not attracted to, that can change as you are granted more information. And that can also just change. Like, one day you just might wake up and go, you know what? Booty. And it might not matter what gender and whose booty, but just booty, And so that is just the fact of the matter. And with that, it can be really hard to determine what you're feeling, and what sexuality you feel like you are, and what genders you might or may not be attracted to at any given time. It's just a very tricky world out here. It's tough out here. I gotta do my hair still. And that's a wrap for you guys. I just wanted to let you know that compet is something that a lot of people face and don't know that they're facing it, and other people may or may not know about it, but they still, it's something that affects a lot of people in our society as a whole, and there's not really a solution to it. It's just kind of to be aware of it, and be aware that sexuality is fluid, and not everyone stays the same all the time. Things change. So just be very understanding of the people in your lives, because they can be going through a lot, and just continue being there for them.